MJF comes out to the ring. He says Danielson isn't here tonight because he's terrified of MJF. And the crowd is all chanting for Ricky. And he says that Ricky is talented, and he compares Ricky Starks, stating, "You are the absolute drizzling shits." Or should I say, a Rudy Poo candy ass, because you stole everything from the guy. You're a dollar store Dwayne. And therefore, I'm going to call you the Pebble. And I'm going to put this pebble into my pocket and skip your scrawny ass all the way back to Billy Corgan to go fight on YouTube where you belong. So he just eviscerates Ricky Starks. And this crowd is with Ricky Starks, but like, this is always going to be the challenge, is that he's going to be so entertaining with these promos that you're going to hope that the crowd stays with the babyface. And that is what they did here, because Ricky Starks got his response and just cut the promo of his life here, starting off by calling him Maxi Pad and a fifth-rate Roddy Piper who smells like paint thinner. I mean, at that point, all bets are off at this point. The gloves are off. Makes fun of his terrible fake tan, his crappy shoes, just goes piece by piece and WH Parks this dude and says that everything screams cheap. When the people got behind you, when the people got behind me, I gave them a reason to keep going. While you let everyone down, you let Regal down, I always deliver. Meanwhile, you went off to Greece for 3 months because you weren't paid enough and got out-politicked by someone smarter than you. You avoid responsibility and pressure. I live with dignity and respect. I lived in a car here in Austin. I grinded. Next week is a big deal. I'm going to shut you up, and I'm going to take the responsibility off your plate. And with that, MJF just takes this all in and kicks him in the balls and goes to attack him with the ring. Starks ducks, spears MJF, and he leaves the segment holding the belt, getting one up on MJF, but an awesome promo from Ricky Starks, and round of applause to the crowd who just made him feel like a star in this segment.
It was outstanding. And yes, he had the hometown advantage here with a very supportive atmosphere.
Good.
But even without Austin, like, this would have been a home run segment. This would have been a home run promo from Ricky Starks. And credit to MJF for, like, bringing some pretty strong material. Like, yes, this was a segment crafted to make the babyface look good coming out of it. But, like, I don't think MJF treated him lightly. He came in with some pretty strong material here. This crowd was chanting Pebbles. Like, at least a small portion of this very pro Ricky Starks crowd were still chanting Pebble at him. So he had that to overcome. And Ricky Starks, like, we've known how good he is, on the microphone. It's part of the reason why I think he got his job. I mean, it's entirely the reason I think why he got his job, because in ring he's great, but we have a lot of great in ring guys. What sets him apart from anybody is his ability to talk on the microphone, and he completely exemplified it here. What I loved the most about this segment was that it was not just generic trash talk. It was not just name calling. He had a lot of that. It was like the type of cool babyface, humorous insult that made you want to cheer for the good guy ahead of the cool bad guy. But beyond that, he had substance to his words, talking about how, MJF leaving that autograph signing was simply easy for him because he had no responsibility to an audience that he doesn't like anyway. Starks talked about how when you like the audience, when the audience likes you, you have a greater deal of responsibility that you have to live up to. And the way he ended it with saying, "I'm going to do you a favor, little boy. I'm going to take that responsibility away from you," was just beautiful. Wonderfully done. He gave this crowd exactly what they wanted. They came here to see Ricky Starks, and he gave them a heroic moment where he stood tall above the bad guy. And I would say beyond that, like, I don't think he's going to win. And I think most people recognize that he's not going to beat MJF. But what this feud has achieved up until this point is that it's shown that Ricky Starks is capable of being a world title contender, going up against a very, a viable world champion in MJF right now. And he's a part of the conversation. And he's shown the world that he can have a world-class promo segment that, you could pair against anything on any show.
Yeah, I really thought this was a great segment, and it had like elements that usually would, like, certainly, like, you call this guy like a knockoff of The Rock. It was like, but at the end of this, it was like Stark's comeback was so strong, and it was just like it totally like destroyed MJF's point that you were rallying behind this guy by the end. And there's some baby faces that would not be able to come back during this. But he did in a big way. And these two worked together to create a great segment. And more importantly, make next week's match feel much bigger. And that was the goal of this segment. And both of these guys accomplished that. So I thought this was the most effective thing on the show.
Yeah. I think we could be very critical about like AEW's building of title challengers, especially when it's the first challenger, in a brand new reign. I almost wish like we had more opportunity to hear from Starks in the lead up to this, but man, like did they achieve a whole lot, in this one show, giving him the battle royal, and then giving him this incredible promo segment that was even more important than the battle royal win.